Innovative content. Global audience.
Hello, good morning, viewers. A very warm Monday morning to you from London, the world's capital city. This is Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Princess Kessy. I have with me, as usual, this morning.
Now the Kris is here.
And we'll be joining Abuja shortly. We have so many things happening, so many news coming from our national dailies today, and we can see here that Labour is at it again as usual. I felt like, during these tribunal issues, Supreme Court saga, we know that it's as if Labour was just giving federal government that, time to do whatever they have to do. And now that that is over, we're seeing Labour up again. What are they up to this time? We'll be finding out pretty soon. These are some of the stories we'll be discussing today on the show. And of course, we know that the news from our ex-president, something that might just gladden your hearts. People say he didn't try, he destroyed the economy, he did that, he did this, but I want to believe that he tried his best as well. Nigeria is a country where you feel like, okay, I want to go, I think I'm capable. And when you're there, it's as if you're overwhelmed, you just be confused, you don't know what to do. These are some of the issues trending this morning. And of course, a look at, INEC, the judiciary, and the 2023 elections and the take home as well. Good morning. Good morning, Mary and Kenneth. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you. How are you doing over there?
Fine. How is Abuja today?
Oh, well, the normal. Just cold and it's Abuja. Abuja like that.
All right, you're welcome. We're going to kickstart this morning with the reviews without wasting time, and we kickstart with the Punch newspaper. These are some of the stories we have coming from the Punch newspaper. And the main headline here says Forest Crisis. Labour blames government officials meets FG today. And the writer says politicians taste for foreign goods pushing Nigerians to disaster. This is coming from LSC. Labour threatens to boycott talks with government if minister attends. And all these stories on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says FG6 speedy delivery of Turkish attack helicopters, and that story is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Freemes Fidelity Bank, John Vett seal $40 million cocoa deal, and that story is on page 36 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says a challenging P and ID fraud saved Nigeria $15 billion. This is coming from the ex-president Buhari, and that story is on page 20 and 31 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says German Chancellor visit Tinubu gives ECOWAS 81 million euro for security others. That story is on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says importers return to parallel market as Naira rebounds. And that story it's on page 38 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Lagos begins demolition of Ikoyi structures near drainage. That story is on page 18 of the Punch newspaper. And the last story here says Israeli Hamas deaths near 10,000 UN warns of civil unrest. And that story is on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. Now, these are all the stories we have coming from the Punch newspaper this morning. There's a story here. But Kris, look at this story here that says German Chancellor visit Tinubu gives ECOWAS 81 million euro for security others.
I'm always scared of free lunch.
Okay.
Anybody gives you something
For free.
I don't understand. You understand? Why are they giving it to them? You see, these are the things. What is their interest? Because nobody does anything without interest. Do you have to ask those difficult questions? But anyway, it's a good thing if they're giving us, they're interested in our security. If they understand that just Nigerian security will affect them one way or the other, then I'm on for it. I mean, ECOWAS security. Otherwise, I'm very, very uncomfortable with this free lunch. It's like a man telling you to come and take me, I want to take you out.
Mhm.
Go and buy you lunch. Is it free? Is anything like free lunch? I don't understand it, and we should be worried. But anyway, it's a good thing if they're giving us that amount of money, and I hope that we use it for the betterment of the society, really, because insecurity is a huge problem.
It is a
In
huge problem.
don't forget, this is a time where we have the juntas trying to take over. That it's not in the interest of the West anyway. So I can understand if that is what they're giving us that money to fight the juntas. Prosperity will judge everybody. This yes.
That's true. There's a story here that says Labour meets government officials. Labour blames government officials meet FG today, but they are threatening to boycott that meeting if the minister attends. Now, Kenneth, we know that we had issues, the past also here and here, back and forth with Labour and the ex-minister. Now, we saw a new minister. People actually thought that was a relief. And now, inception of this minister, we've been seeing, back and forth once again with the labor movement, the organized labor, and this minister. Now they're supposed to meet federal government, but they threaten to boycott that meeting. This is on the heat of the palliative, the welfare of workers, and the economy as a whole. We're talking about forest crisis, but they are threatening to boycott that meeting if the minister attends. What do you think we do at this point? Talking about the organized labor and so many pending issues with the minister and the government as well.
Well, in fact, it says a lot. From the time of course, like you had rightly said, the past Labour Minister, Dr. Kris, it's always looked like as if every Labour Minister that comes in is already on a defensive position with the organized Labour. But for me, I look at this from a different perspective in the sense that what exactly is the demand of the Labour Congress? Because this is if I'm not mistaken, this should be the fifth time they're meeting the federal government, and it always ends with them always coming at an impasse and saying, "Okay, let's let this be." But we've not really seen the benefit of these meetings. Probably, maybe to them, maybe to the ones go attending the meetings, probably a little thank you for coming. Like always comes to go to Aso Rock. But aside that, we're yet to see the impact of the series of meetings they have been having. The president at the time had proposed about 35,000 naira to be added, for some 6 months to the federal workers. But we're yet to see the impact of the Labour Congress when it comes to the sharing of the same palliatives which they have been fighting for. And then you ask, is the Labour supposed to even be asking for palliatives when they should be asking for, the right thing to be done? And of course, it's still the Labour workers that still, fill up the whole ministries where the corruption, where the inefficiencies of government is still being witnessed. I'm not on the Labour. I'm not for government. What I'm saying, if they're going to say the minister should not come, then that means they're also asking government not to come, because that's a constitutional duty of an elected minister, or not elected anyway, of a minister appointed by the president to oversee the Labour ministry. By right, he should be the one negotiating and then going back to the federal government to tell them, the position of things. So I don't know when they're saying that the minister should not attend. I don't know who else is the federal government when it comes to labor negotiations between the federal government and the Labour Congress.
That's the way to go, I guess. And we move on quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that will be the Nigerian Tribune. That These are some of the stories coming from the Nigerian Tribune. We have here 15 points MOU implementation. NLC threatens boycott of meeting with FG, and the rider says wants Labour minister not to attend to shut down economy activities in Imo November 1st over alleged labor maltreatment. Now, all these stories are on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says boats with over 80 passengers capsized in Taraba. That story is on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Nedako to Tinubu implements APC aerofoil recommendations on restructuring power devaluation. That story is on page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says Tinubu governors others mourn as Ohinoyi of Ibiroland dies at 95. And that story is on page 12 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says the Supreme Court judgment, distraction over Tinubu tells Jama Chancellor. And that story is on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Also saw a story here that says two men suffocate inside diesel tank in Kano. That story is on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says I directed Kyari Malami to fight 15 billion payment to P&ID. This is coming from Buhari, and that story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. There is a story here as well that says Oyo government appeals Osun of Ogbomoshan's sack on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Reps move to give legal backing to artisanal petroleum refiners. That story is on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. CNG vehicles Fed FG inaugurate Lagos Pilot Conversion Center on page 16 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from the Tribune this morning. And there's a story here that says I directed Kyari Malami to fight for 15 billion payments to P&ID. Now, this is coming from Buhari. Says had Nigerian lost, it would have required schools not to be built, nurses not to be trained, roads not to be repaired. Now, let's look at this story that the Kris. This is coming from the ex-president, and saying that if the money had not been paid, or if we had lost schools, would not have been built, or nurses not have been trained, roads not to be repaired. I don't understand. There's a confusion there. Is it that this money we've already used them to build the schools or train nurses? Where are the nurses we talk about trained by the federal government? I didn't know we had, nurses, federal government trained nurses.
The problem is, I will not be surprised if those money were actually used to pay salaries and the rest siphoned. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think what the president is saying that if he hadn't, if not his move, many of these people there would have been problems. And what are the problems? It's not really training; it's payment. What we do is pay salaries. That's what we do in Nigeria. The health sector is important. If we are running hospitals, you should princess. What I don't understand is, does Nigerian hospital, is it free? Do we have free healthcare in Nigeria?
We don't.
So we go to hospital and we pay for our
pay,
bills.
yes.
And how come that the system is not raising enough money at least to run an effective hospital? That is, you say, I don't like, I use the word this money even when you say free lunch, you understand? I don't believe in that everything should be free, you understand? The ones the government cannot do, charge reasonably, you understand? But let the system be effective. Because by the time you say people should not, we shouldn't pay for school, we shouldn't pay for nurses, or we shouldn't, then, and you cannot afford it, then people, at the end of the day, you don't nobody favor, because at the end, we will now run to the private sector, who will now rip us off, or at the end, or we travel abroad for it. It is better to be realistic. This is what the government can do, and stuff like that. So if that is the step position of the government, I'm on for it, you understand? But I wonder what the money was actually used for.
Anyway, I still want to say kudos to the president that money was actually recovered. But the worries is that where is the money? What was the money used for, or what is it? What is this money going to be used for? These are some of the worries. Kenneth, don't you think so?
Well, for me, if you follow the story well, the money was never recovered. It was actually a litigation by P&ID, who actually an Irish company that come to prospect natural gas in Nigeria. The agreement was actually signed by the administration of then Goodluck Jonathan administration, and this in fact should be a pointer to Nigerians to understand the level of corruption that was promulgated by this administration that most people think was full of technocrats. The administration had already signed off contract for gas exploration in it should be Bayelsa or Delta State, I think, one of those states. And then when they could not meet up with the contract because there was no gas supply, because no gas plant had actually been built, then P&ID took them on through litigation demanding for damages up to the tune of 15 billion naira. and in fact, it was a British court that saved Nigeria from that mess, and of course, threw away the case, having identified that P&ID had already paid millions of dollars in bribes for to Nigerian civil servants, government workers, for them to even get the license in the first place, or get the agreement in the first place to build these gas plants. So Buhari is just trying to say that if he had not asked Malami and Kyari to swing into action, that Nigeria, of course, would have paid those damages, owing from breach of contract. And there is, but I think one thing DNI used to ask, when we've been able to establish outside of Nigeria, you see the problem I have. Most times, one of the cases that will even take into cognizance are cases that are won outside of Nigeria. Now that the case has been established outside of Nigeria, that P&ID paid bribes to Nigerian government officials, the question for me is, where are the government officials that these bribes were paid to? Who is covering them? Why is the same Buhari's government not moving in to persecute, government officials from the previous administration who have been fingered in this scandal as having collected bribe from P&ID to give them the license to go build this gas plant? Well, still he's only in paper celebrating for not paying 15 billion naira, but I think due process should be allowed to run. The people who have been, who are part of this cabal that cooked up this, this keyword contract for Nigeria should be brought to the book. They should answer for the crimes. They should be made to see that you don't have to rip off your country because you want to get some, little tidbits. But kudos to Buhari's administration, of course, for instigating the legal process to, stop this payment of $15 billion for breach of contract.
Yes, kudos to the ex-president. At least that's something maybe he did we should applaud, because nobody's talking about that. We're only talking about how economy went down and this happened. These are some of the things we actually applaud him for. And Mary, I've been meaning, there's something that is really bothering me. When we talk about Niger, Taraba, Benue, we often see this issue of boat capsizing in these areas. What do you think can be done? I don't understand why we keep having this issue of, and people dying all the time. I've seen that. I see that a lot in Lagos, in Taraba, Niger, and of course, even Benue as well.
Okay, I think this one happened in Taraba, right?
Yes. We've seen that capsize in over 80 passengers, and I don't want to believe that we'll now start looking or something bad would have happened to them.
The thing is, most
And,
of
and, don't, and don't forget also that over the weekend or last week, we actually lost a media aide to APC, or the governor, APC candidate in Bayelsa too. And we know that in Bayelsa there is this people travel via boats, because that the better part of that state is water, of course. And I've been to that state, and I was going for a wedding, which when I got there I had to wait over. I told my friends I can't cross because there was no life jacket. And like, don't worry, we are here. I said, don't tell me that the water is quite massive, no life jacket, and you're telling me if something happened, will carry. Yeah, can you carry me this sea? And the sea was quite wide, and you could see this village across far. I can't go there, and it was even our classmate then. We all came from Port Harcourt then, and like I told them, I'm not going in, and I had to wait in the car. You won't believe it was like over 8 hours wait, but I was cool, because I said I was calling my mom, please, oh, look at these people, they want to push me and enter water. And she said I shouldn't enter since my spirit telling me not to go. So I had to stay back. So what do you think can be done? Because we see a lot of people traveling without life jacket, actually, and maybe a lot of these people are still not, they don't know how to swim as well.
Okay, the thing is, I believe to some extent the government neglects this part of
Transportation, about means of transportation.
yes, and about the life jacket, it's not actually the fault of the passengers because they're supposed to be given a life jacket. But at the end of the day, most of those people that travel through the boats, through the water, you find out that there's no life jacket. And when things happens like this, they tend to blame it on the driver, but not really the driver. And if you notice, most of when they want to travel through this water, there are people that will tell you there are lifesavers around. You understand that maybe when something wants to happen,
Divers. They call them
yeah,
divers.
Who's gonna dive and bring out someone without a life
and I
jacket?
don't know if you
Divers in Nigeria.
It's
No,
funny.
that's what maybe that's what Mary is trying to explain, that they will tell you
Yes,
just in case of emergency.
around Bonny Island. There was actually accidents in the water. Although me, I've never traveled through water, and hopefully I don't even pray to travel through water. And this one was, they were actually sending an empty boat to come rescue those people. You can imagine them exchanging from one boat to the other inside water. I don't know how that miracle can actually happen and how that happened, but finally nothing happened though. But what I'm trying to say is, you see, most of these people that travel through the waters, you find out that there is no life jacket. So I feel like government should provide these things for them, since the people that are riding the boat don't have it. You understand? So that's what me I feel like it should be
Princess,
done.
I'm going to contribute something to this because I schooled in River State, and behind my school, the River State University, we have this water. We have to cross to we call it the Polu community. You just have to just take the boat ride about 15 naira. You cross over to Oroworuku and the rest. And I was living in Ajib then. Over the years, we always it was a steady occurrence that sometime within probably the ember months, people will die. Now the narrative was always that it is the ember month gods by the purported Christians who have there. They say the ember month gods eating people through the water. But for me, I believe is a show of shame. Is in fact is the only way to understand that the abysmal neglect of the maritime sector in Nigeria. We only talk about roads. Everybody's talking about roads. Everybody's talking about roads. Nobody talks about the fact that over 30% of Nigerians use the water for transportation daily. People use the water for transportation. It's not just about Taraba. There are people in Benue, there are people in Kogi, there are people in River State, Bayelsa, Calabar, Akwa Ibom, even Abia State, even our Imo State. People transport not just themselves, but goods and services are moved across the water. And then there is no code for water transportation in Nigeria. I cannot tell you that anybody can have a water transport company in Nigeria. If you just buy a Ponzi boat or you have a whatever, there's a makeshift one they do. They just bring in the engine and put it on a wooden body. You can imagine an automatic engine on a wooden body, and then you put it on the water. And even at that, they still have to overload it with people, and there is no life jacket. For me, I don't even think it's a fault of the government. I think it's a fault of the authorities, the institutions that should the massa.
It's a minister.
No, we have the massa that should be monitoring activities that happen on the water. But it's been turned to a political office. Amechi gives it to Toyeko. Toyeko gives it to this person. For me, we should be talking about the institutions in this aspect. If there is a code that says before you can even operate a boat transport company, you should at least have life jackets. The issue you talked about, Mary, of in Bonny, I've been on the scene, Bonny, traveling when our boat spoiled, and we had to cross over to another boat. It is entirely safe if you
Inside
have
the water.
yeah, it's entirely
So
safe.
scary.
It's entirely safe if you have a life jacket.
So does it mean that an empty boat was actually following you guys?
No.
No, when it's spoiled, they have to
They'll
send
call.
a radio message, because even at the sea, you can't even get normal service. So they use this walkie-talkie to send a radio message to the control that please, our social boat is bad. So they have to send another one. Of course, most of these things were because they are rickety boats anyway. Nobody invests in it.
How many minutes or time frame was that?
Well, to be sincere, we spent over an hour waiting for the
Yes.
boat.
So you were still on that boat, but the boat wasn't moving. But at
Well,
least
we were there, and of course, some people were singing Jesus Power, Super Power. But when they got to Mami Water, Super Power, everybody will close their mouth. So the Mami Water will not get annoyed and throw us into the sea. So it was as funny, but it was also scary, you know.
So
no, I think that's one thing. The work. I don't know the ministry in charge of that
The
work.
master actually should be doing that.
Should actually look towards.
we're talking on basic things here, health and safety in transportation. You understand? And just the way you don't drive, don't drink and drive. These are we now at least we're getting more because when you preach a gospel, people get used to it. You understand? Now we know to drive. You need to driver's license. You need to have this. You need to make sure you have your triangles in case of accident. All those little things. You must put on your seat belt. Little things we now know when you're driving. That code is what we're saying should be applicable to those using the
Government
using
pays
the
less attention to this part. You understand? This system of transportation, they pay less attention to it. They actually don't care. But I think Bonny has road right now, road that leads to
Yeah,
Yeah, now from Port Harcourt.
we did that, but for
Yes.
me, I think we're missing a big income from the
Yes.
water transport.
That's
Yes,
the problem.
yes,
You can live from Delta to Lagos by road, by water.
Really?
Less than, in fact, if you use a correct speedboat, you're there in 2 hours. So that's
Are
going
you
to drive
serious?
you. Yeah, it's even faster. An hour you're there. You understand? The journey is so near. When you look at the Nigerian map, you can see how you can bridge this movement.
So as we're discussing this, I want us let's see the Daily Trust newspaper, because this paper tell more of this water transportation we even talk about. Like you can see the headline there that says many fear dead as boats with over 100 passengers capsized in Taraba. Now, this point, you can see people there, and my fear is this. Look at that canoe there with a lot of people, and sometimes I think they abuse these things. You can even see that. You will see. I think there are supposed to be seats. A wood across the canoe that is. I think 2-3 person seats.
We're
One
not
line.
even supposed to use this to transport somebody.
Transport.
This is best left for boat regattas, for carnivals. This is not something you transport human beings in.
But you know that places that don't have road, they don't have
No,
link
no,
roads
you
to other
understand.
places,
Just like what
understand?
Kris is
You
saying.
must pass through the water.
Just like that, you said, there's no code. This, what I'm seeing here now, is an antiquity. Is an antique boat. It's something you use for the olden days Kenjaja Gobobo expedition. This is not what you use in transporting people in the 21st century.
That's what I'm saying now, but this is what they have. You understand? So they provide any means of transportation for them. This is the one they can provide, and that is where the problem is.
My question is, no, let's wait a minute. Let's wait. Is it true that the rules are not there, or we are not just enforcing it?
I think the rules are not there.
Okay.
I think the government
less
as
attention.
agency
They've not
look away.
recognized- they've not recognized the
recognized
sector.
this sector,
Okay.
and they're not utilizing.
You know what funny thing, eh? It's just like you come to England now and you just think you can open a booker. So anybody can open a booker the next day in Nigeria now. Cook and
Sure.
give Nigerians food. You don't care whether the person has understand hygiene, whether he has license. You don't do it here. Even for me to organize a food festival here, you have to make sure. If you have an event and you want people to just cook maybe some snack by the road, they must have food license. So every sector, when government do it, sometimes we say it's bureaucracy, but this is because of the safety of the people. And like Kenneth rightly said, look at the huge income we could be generating from that water transportation. And growing up, anyway, I grew up in my village. We used to use boats to cross to Saple. You understand? And like Kenneth said, anybody just, if you see the kind of wooden boat we use, I just put the machine. The engine is quite good. The engine good. Sometimes the engine actually stop in the middle of the journey, and then we have to use because it's not that the water is not that dangerous. So sometimes you see everybody beginning to using paddle to get to where we're going, which is quite risky. And moving people, if you grow up in the water, you will not be so scared. You guys, we grow up around the.
Do you
around the
know?
water
There's something that happened then in Uniport. My younger cousin that I brought into the school, then he was doing basic. This, I think the classmates, they were going for a party as well in Bonnie. I don't know, wedding or so. I don't know. And they had this issue as well. Do you know when they brought her to her body? It's something that actually traumatized us for a long time, for years.
She died.
Yes, and you needed to see. I don't know if it's crab or something that plucked out
The eyes and everything.
Yeah.
and everything. It was a horrible
Really?
sight. Yes, and we were told that there were no life jacket. I think then my school had to take up the issue. A lot of cases then, and the family. So I just felt like. Then I kept preaching it. If you know you're going to Bonny Island, please, if they don't give you life jacket, don't go.
Because what can life jacket really do?
But Kennedy said they had a breakdown, and for some they had to wait for like an hour, and then there was a boat. So if apparently they had a life jacket on, that would actually even save them for a period of time. But this one there was no life jacket.
And for me, I'm so scared of water. What can life jacket really do anyway for somebody?
And this water, I've never been there, but I know it's very, very massive. It's big.
With a life jacket, actually, it gives you the opportunity to float. At least you have some first aid coming or some rescue coming. But the truth is, even with the life jacket, if you still say past 4, 5, 6 hours with the freezing conditions.
The cold and all that.
On a dangerous water life jacket, they will see the thing will sweep you away. Though you'll be alive, but it's going to take you far. It's better to have the boats, standard boats, to move people in the first place. But not that. I would say people who
But
don't
for
have
me,
that money should
the
not
life
move.
jacket helps more because I think an occurrence that this happened in Lagos, and I think only few people with life jackets was not enough to go around on all the passengers, and only the ones with life jackets actually survived. The rest died, and the driver survived. So I think the life jacket.
Look at this picture, and you can see how they pack people in one canoe like that, and they are even using I don't know, that pedal, how do you call it,
So they have
to
life
move
jackets,
them
but
around. And you can see that this canoe, the number of people there apparently is not even meant for so
Overloaded.
but it's always overloaded. It's always
Always
overloaded. They
overloaded.
carry as many as they can. You understand? No rules. It's always overloaded when it comes to this.
Anyway, we move on quickly to our daily trust, and these are some of the stories we're already seeing there. Pay rise, federal government yet, FD yet to pay 79.3 billion naira peculiar allowances 7 months after, and the riders say Jason ultimatum ends tomorrow. NLC alleges lack of capacity to manage wages. Supplementary budgets, stale payments in agencies, finance ministry, mom. All the stories are on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. There's a story there as well that says power minister yet to give policy directive after 2 months in office. That story is on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. There's a story here as well that says Nigeria, Chinese firms signed 365 billion naira contract to upgrade distribution lines. That story is on page 21 of the Daily Trust newspaper. There's a story here that says bandits kill only teacher in Kaduna community. That story is on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. There's a story here that says FG plans reabsorption of a retired military officer, and that story is on page 15 of the Daily Trust newspaper. There's a story here that says UN raises alarm as food store ransacked in Gaza, on page 14 of the Daily Trust newspaper. These are all the stories we can take on the Daily Trust newspaper. Kenneth, there's a story here that says power minister yet to give policy directive after 2 months in office. What do we make of this?
Well, first of all, it shows that the person you have in the power ministry is not supposed to be there. If we are going to be fair to the Tinubu administration, his preferred candidate for the power ministry was always going to be Nasir El-Rufai, who even before the ministerial positions were being, shared and everything, already assembled a team that went into work, looking at the power agreements between the Gencos, that's the power generation companies, and of course the transmission companies, and every agreement that was put in place, and also looking at the power plants we have, look, they just had to do a thorough job on how to revive the power sector. That was before the powers beyond even Nigeria said that Nasir El-Rufai was not fit to be a minister owing to his comments against Christians, and of course the genocidal killings that transpired during his time in southern Kaduna. So I think whoever was put in the power ministry was just a makeshift. Was just a stopgap for the president to just put out that list first. That is why we're not seeing purpose in the power ministry. We're yet to see a policy. We're yet to know if they are still working together with a policy. But even if you look at the news, as much as there's no policy, Nigeria and China is already signing a 365 billion naira contract to upgrade distribution lines. So it means that the power contract that was signed with Siemens by the Buhari administration is almost being trashed away because, of course, Siemens is Germany. And then we're now having Nigeria sign a 365 billion contract with China. I might not be surprised if this was part of the reasons for the German council visiting Nigeria to ascertain the status of this, contract. Because even when the European powers, when they supply power to an African country. Of course, giving power or building power architecture is also a sign of foreign influence over your country. Means, of course, they will be the ones to run it for you. They determine, how power generation moves in the country. So I expected him coming to the country. This could be one of the reasons, but then we saw him drop $81 million for ECOWAS. I'm sure this money is not going to the people in the power ministry for them to revive the Siemens contract. I'm not saying anything, but this is my thought. So we're not saying policy, but we're saying contracts being signed. So what exactly is the mission of this contracts being signed? We're here to determine. But for me, it's not a good thing that up 2 months in power, we're yet to hear anything from the prime minister. We've seen the works, we've seen other ministries, put out their plans, put out the ambitions. Power minister as it is, maybe is not yet fit or not have the right fit to run it yet.
It's quite sad, that I don't know, even 2 weeks is quite a lot. Somebody that that was appointed to head an institution, you should know already that these are the issues. There, I don't think there is any Nigeria, even a layman, that does not know the power situation in Nigeria. Now we have to wait for so long for us to now for a minister to come and start implementation or give directive. It's quite sad, and it's only show one thing, like you said, that maybe the wrong person is even in that sector. Anyway, we move on quickly to the next newspaper, and that will be the Guardian newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories we have coming from the Guardian newspaper. The big story here says wide probe of 11.3 trillion naira refineries maintenance cost we end futile, and that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. There's a story here that says unconstitutional for politicians to be INEC rec, and that story is on page 2 of the Guardian newspaper. There's a story here that says Oshun APC PDP bicker over Adeleke's 100 billion infrastructural agenda. That story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. And then we have a story here that says the energy challenges undermining Nigeria's development, Tinubu admits, and that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. The imperative of a good road infrastructure, that story is on page 12 of the Guardian newspaper. And the last story here we take says that APC risk losing future polls with questionable candidates, says Don. And that story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. These are all the stories we can take from the Guardian. And then there's a story here that says that Kris, unconstitutional for politicians to be INEC rec. Do you share that thought?
Unconstitutional. Anyway, that is a matter of constitution then. If they say it is unconstitutional, that is what I don't understand. Any Nigerian can be, right? INEC rec. I think there are criteria. Most of the rec, they are Muslim lawyers. You understand? And if you watch carefully, most of them were picked from universities,
yes,
and to come and serve. I can understand the fear that that the politicians will be politicians, but the truth is, everybody is a politician. That's how I see it. Every Nigerian is a politician. We're all sensitive to what happens around us. Maybe we don't play active politics. We are not running for office, but we are all politicians, and we have interests. But I think the only thing we should be worried about is making sure that those in power, are held accountable. Everybody have tendency to be corrupt, even in the UK here. If you give the prime minister a chance here, he probably will be corrupt. You understand? He will be, but because he knows that if he's caught, he will be used as a scapegoat. He will try and stay. So let our focus be on holding our leaders or whoever is in authority accountable. Not this politics. Every Nigerians have seen. If you want to get a Nigerian talking, just discuss something political, and we all jump into it. So it depends on the level of politics. That's what they are saying now. So those in office that can be changed, so they are the same for me. You understand? If you bring me in now, I still have my interest, no matter how qualified I am. But like I said, there's no society that is that. How will I put it? I don't misbehave in the UK because I know if I do,
your sanctions. Law is
In fact, I will face the repercussion. But in Nigeria, I do misbehave. I remember driving in Abuja without my license. You understand? I will try it in the UK. You understand? I will not. Why? Because the law is the law. So perhaps that's what we should be worried about. Rule of law.
Well, there's a story here, Kenan, that says APC risk losing future polls with questionable candidates. It's your party.
We've never had the questionable candidate in APC. We've only had questionable questionnaires, from the other side, questioning our credible candidates. We've never had any. In fact, I can
Really
tell
now?
you,
You're joking.
Really?
we have
How
never
can
had
you
any
say that?
candidate that is questionable. No
How
one.
can you say that, Kenneth? I don't think you're being fair because
Listen, your president, even our president is questionable. That's what we'll be going through. I know
Who is pregnant on the
no, nothing. The side is not true that he's not questionable, but we have questions. You understand? Questions, questions.
My position on this has been every question that has been asked of our candidates has always been questions that are non-essential to the development of Nigeria. Someone is asking if the president is educated. Then they should be asking, why was the president not even educated in Nigeria in the first instance? Why did he have to go to US to go get education when he's from Nigeria? But now we'll put that to rest. Of course, we'll also put the corruption allegations to rest. We'll put the drug cases to rest. So the problem is those asking the questions, who are they? Even the people asking the questions are even the ones that are more questionable, if you ask me. We've just had the P&ID scandal today that the previous administration that was who called the saintly ones would have put Nigeria in a mess of $14 billion. Nobody's talking about that. Well, there's an Alice Madieke now seeking refuge, of course, in the US or rather in the UK, dodging corruption allegations.
You're turning this to a political issue. The
No,
question
I'm not APC always has the best mechanism for picking credible candidates. I can tell
Oh
you
my
that.
God. I like that. But can I? Nigerians are watching. And for the future, for everybody watching, this is more important. You might not do things that breaks the law. It doesn't take away right and wrong. You guys always say go to court. That is the new slogan. If anything happens, go to court. You know some of these things cannot be proven in the court. Thank you so much. Thank God you are successful. But there is right and wrong.
Sure.
If we continue to screw the nation the way we're doing it, we're going down. And what the guy said is, I don't know which people have questionable characters, questionable candidates like the APC. There's none. No, not even PDP of those days, their candidates are not questionable. You know what I like? It's not going to affect everybody. Tomorrow, they just released your EFCC guy, right? Somebody who was there he was a good guy. The same EFCC, the same APC. You are the one that appointed him. It was not PDP that appointed him. He has questionable. This guy now, this is your governor, CBN governor. It was not APC that appointed him. It was the same. It's not PDP. It's APC. So what you are saying is your sense of judgment as a party.
Our party, thank you, sir. Our party has always, in fact, thank you for what you said now. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, an EFCC boss was taken to, due process, and he had to, remit the monies he took unconstitutionally. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, a CBN governor was tried, locked up for over months, and then he's
tried for what? Where is he now? Where are they?
These are civil servants.
These are the enemies. The enemies, you guys, listen, we are not stupid. We are not stupid. We know Emefiele was not towing the line of your president, so he's on the wrong side. I'm sure this guy is on the other side, within the party. There's a party within the party.
Hold the thought, sir. Emefiele actually was appointed by the PDP. Emefiele was appointed by Goodluck Jonathan.
Okay,
his term was only renewed by Muhammad Buhari. And good to say, Emefiele at the time was acting very good, and Buhari had to, renew his tenure again.
So you trust the judgment of your president renewing it?
No, he renewed it on the precept that okay, this guy was good, and even Emefiele was Igbo. So at the time, if you had removed him and of course brought in another person, the narrative would have been he's always appointing his own people. So he kept him there. Even when the guy proposed the Naira swap, that it was going to stop politicians from buying vote. Well, of course, APC will believe we're always going to win the election, vote buying or no vote buying. He said, okay, fine, do it.
Now, it's just a digression. I just named those two, Ken. I just named those two. When you guys have enemies within your party, you fund them. You understand?
I'm quite shocked that you'll be saying such a thing, regardless of the fact that you're a member of that party. If you look at the political sector critically,
No.
now hold on, Kenneth. When you look at that, some of these your appointees, you will know that. Recall when Erufai did say, once you join APC, your sins are forgiven.
Now, Erufai,
they says when Akpabio cross carpet to APC.
Okay.
And now people were not judging you, Erufai. You were number one saying Akpabio is corrupt, Akpabio is this. You were fighting, and just because he had to decamp to your party, and now you're not saying nothing. He came out on the national TV to say, once you join the APC, then the leading party, or them as a then your sins are forgiven automatically. And so I'm quite surprised that you will be saying that APC appointee or APC member, they are sent. It's that they should not, their character or their presence should not be questionable. It's
Kris, I think you're getting Erufai in the wrong context. When he was saying, I'm not his spokesman here, but the way I understand it, when he said, when you join the APC, your sins are forgiven, it means that when you join the APC, we'll stop playing politics. Most of the time, people play politics without evidence.
That's not what you mean.
I'm calling it.
No. You're trying to paint it. That's not what
Listen, even in the APC, and Odis Okalo was sentenced to prison. Let us remember things as it is.
Oh, yeah, it's an enemy within. Those are the enemy within the party. Ken, those are enemy. We are not stupid. Those are enemy within the party. You know when you're on the same side, you know we're going to
get politics here now. What I'm saying, man, is that APC as a machinery does not condone corruption.
Saraki came in under APC. The moment the guy did not play ball, he was. You know, he must not come back. That's how powerful presidency is. Come on, don't fool us, man. Anyway, I don't think we want to turn it to APC, PDP, because I don't even like the PDP that much, you know. But
it's true that they all have questionable character.
That's what the guy
we don't have any questionable character in APC.
They do. I am shocked that you're saying that, because they are all your APC people. They are not sent. A lot of them are from PDP. Later, you see them going back and forth, and they are the same people that kept Nigeria in the place we are today.
You know what's so funny? Sorry, Kenneth. We're waiting to. I'm just going to fight the other party a little bit. We're waiting to hear from the PDP now. And who is the saint?
Atiku is supposed to.
It's not the saint. Atiku is not a saint. Can you imagine?
Atiku is supposed to. We're not saying Atiku is a saint, but they are all the same, sir. That is what we're saying.
Exactly, I agree with you. But
they are the same.
What I'm saying is, sometimes, Princess, there's something they call the lesser devil.
APC is not even the lesser devil.
Amen. So let's let them play.
APC is not the lesser devil. They are the
same. I'm not thinking in my head. To be honest, I was looking at the election. I look at who my best candidate was, and I said, "Oh God." And maybe Tinubu is a lesser devil in my mind, though, because when you look at Nigerian stability, let's be sincere. Nigerian stability. I know many people watching will agree. You understand? Many people, I call them the intellectuals. They wanted Peter Obi, but on the lesser devil, why would we're not trying to judge people on trial. You understand? We got Buhari government for 8 years. You understand? And you're bringing another man from the same geographical sector. And I said, when you run a democracy of the majority and undermine the minority, there's going to be
it becomes a problem.
Yes, as a problem. So that's why I said Tinubu was a lesser devil. But Tinubu fighting his own men, those who did not support him. Don't forget, within the party, they have their own internal. So those are the ones that are not saying that. They are
fighting the corrupt ones. He is fighting the corrupt ones.
Look at Ganduje. Look at the likes of Ganduje. See, Kenneth, be truthful to yourself, and because people are watching, you can't say everybody in APC is the same.
With Ganduje, you need to visit Kano to see the impact of Ganduje.
It's not bad.
What?
See, it's not about the
What?
impact. It's about them as
What?
it start from them from people
Okay.
as individuals. So it doesn't mean because he has questionable character, he's not able to perform or he's not able to build.
What did you, what you know? Let Kenneth tell us what he has
Let's
done.
not forget
Let's
the
not go
scenario
there.
with a journalist, the naira dollar issue,
Let's
dollar
not go
issue.
there.
So
Let's
see,
not go
don't say we don't have questionable people in APC. That
No,
would
we
be
don't.
like telling us that Nigeria economy is the best in the world. Anyway, we move on quickly to the next newspaper. But before then, we'll go on a quick break, viewers. Don't go anywhere. We'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll continue with Wake Up Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Whoa. Okay.
Orúlógbò wésì ọbọ nílùú ọdún yóò ta Amẹ́rùté èmúrógbò.
Are you a filmmaker in Abuja and its environ? Do you need a place for your music video, or you need a venue for your conference and even an editing suite for your post-production? Look no further. Our beautiful turret in Lokugoma has it all. We have a whole floor that consists of 3-angle lounge, a beautiful dining area, a large kitchen, a conference area that can comfortably accommodate 60 persons, and 5-bedroom adaptable for all kind of shoots. The good news is all is available at affordable price. And you know what? If you are a member of the Association of Movie Producers of Nigeria, you have 20% discount. So what are you waiting for? Hurry and contact us on the numbers on your screen now. Hooray! The next President Show is here again.
Everyone, my name is Hajara Osman Muhammad. I'm the Youth Governor for Kano State, Nigeria's Center of Commerce.
Pronounced Joel Garba, the Youth Executive Governor of Kaduna State, and I am contesting for the Youth Presidents of Nigeria under the People's Liberation Party, PLP.
Aged between 18 and 30, smart, bold, and possess exceptional leadership skills. Do you have what it takes to be the next youth governor and future youth president? Then register free now at superiorradioandtelevision.com or call the number on the screen. The next President reality TV show, moving politics out of the polite drawing room into the clamor of the streets.
Hello viewers, you're welcome back from that quick break. This is Wake Up Nigeria. And of course, we've been revealing the papers, but I want us to move on to a topic quickly before we wrap up the show this morning. Now, we've seen over the months, years, Labour going back and forth with the federal government. You know, this saga between Labour, the federal government, and the organized Labour, they tend not to, and my fear is that I don't know about others, but I have a major fear because when I was in Nigeria, I used to cover, the organized labor. So I'm always at their press briefing and, of course, their protest. And one thing I've noticed is that proud to now, we know even during Ayub at the ex-president Ayub Owaba, which a lot of people still felt to an extent indeed compromised, but there were actions, and now there's this a new logo Nigerians are giving the organized labor, toothless products. I don't know if you share the same opinion, but I've seen over the months that we've seen we're shutting down, get your food stuff, get your house stocked up. You're closing the country for 3 days, and at the dying minute, we're seeing them compromising or coming on agreements with the federal government. And then the same labor will come out again. Federal government is not adhering to the MOU or whatever, and they start threatening again. So I brought the head of information, Nigerian Labour Congress here, and I say, is it not high time you people just go on a strike once and for all? Then maybe after the strike, we can now start negotiating so that they know that, of course, there is an impact. But he said no, they will have to still go on the meeting and whatever comes out. Now, my question is, and we've seen on the news this morning, federal Labour warning that threatening the ministers not to attend because they wants Labour minister not to attend because if he attend, they will boycott that meeting. That Kris, what can be done once and for all? Because I feel like Nigerian Labour Congress do not actually know what they represent or what that body means.
Well, the I always say they are still the lesser devil. Hope I believe in the labor. I think I can see what they can do so much.
But
They
can they
can,
see it themselves there?
that's the question.
Because I've been
That's
here
the question.
and the only thing I watch most time is a particular TV station here. And I've seen labor movement here. And sometimes I
Yeah,
tend
our
to
own is you
I
see,
know
yes,
yes, I tend to like,
yes.
I do my check and balance and like, okay, it's as if our Nigerian labor organized labor do not even know the power they have
Because
or what they
if
represent.
they understand, you see, like I said, the problem they have is good. The organized labor is different from the Labor Party. Is that what I can
Yes.
understand? Yeah, and but you can see them working
But they
together. They're
work
the same.
together.
They're the
That is what
same.
I see here. They are
Yes,
the same, in
it's the
fact.
same. Yeah,
That is the foundation.
exactly. So, and if until they start to preach a gospel, which Peter came up with, you understand? And it's like Labour bought into Peter's agenda, not Peter buying into the Labour agenda, which is a shame. Meaning they are not clear in their vision for the country. Let me put it this way: I always say that if somebody will come and preach the gospel of a better Nigeria and convince us, we will contribute money to his campaign. Labour, if Labour is preaching the gospel of a better Nigeria in a clear and a convincing manner, we will contribute to Labour. You understand? Right now, they are like deflecting, and it's not their fault because I don't think they have that conviction. They don't think anything is doable. That's one Nigeria. It's not only Labour. No Nigerian person believe we can do it. Oh, don't worry, that is how it's always been. Tomorrow things will change. So nobody is going and say, no, this is how it must be done. I will do my own part until whether you people do the rest, I don't care. But I will do my own and I'll do it to the end. That is the kind of thing we want to see from Labour. Labour should be able to hold government not on this toffee. I call it. I like this word toffee ideology. I don't know many people don't like the word. You understand? Toffee. You don't talk of the sweet things of today. It's not about the palliative and the rubbish. Look at a labor in a country where a government take our subsidies away, and at the end, they say it's giving us palliative. Who asked you for palliative? You said we're gonna. You understand? The essence of taking the oil, the subsidy is so that we can have refineries. That is the reasonable thing anybody would be talking about. Anything short of that, we're not listening. You make it clear, and in the table, that should be the discussion. It got to a point. If you don't get the government on your side, now you get the people. You understand? The truth is, Labour stand for the welfare, more equitable society, and that's what you get with Labour. And if they can preach that wisely, and actually prove it mathematically that it's better for everybody, both the rich, the government, and me that is poor, you will see that people will listen to Labour. They don't understand that. They are not selling that. I'm sorry. You understand? And that is why they are in between. But again, do we have opposition in Nigeria? The so-called opposition who would have done the job Labour is doing is the PDP. Now, the Labour Party that won, and we expect Labour Party to actually keep on pushing, it's like Peter has been pushed down. I don't understand. Peter, you don't run a campaign and win election. That is not the only success you get. Peter, you have won. We want to see your voice. You understand? By the time the government is doing certain things, help the country. We believed in you. You understand? It's not about him winning the election alone. We expect more from Peter right now to come out at the particular point in time and say, this is the way to go. You can still be working for Nigeria without being the president. I don't understand. Must everybody sit down there? I'm not happy at all because I expected today that Peter will be doing the needful. He's not doing it. I mean, the Labour now. Organized Labour is not doing it. Peter is not doing it. Of course, APC is only trying to get the power. The only thing that interests PDP, sorry, is Atiku. Not the agenda of PDP. It's Atiku. Atiku, and who's going to listen to you? Atiku is equal to Atiku, Tinubu. They are the same. You understand? Let us talk about what the PDP stands for. That PDP would have done differently had PDP in power. We want to see that in the House. We want to see that in the press. You understand? Let there be that agenda. But unfortunately, we don't see any. Who is the lesser devil? Labour is the only one who can see cry to. At least they are talking. Because Peter is not talking. The other guy, the PDP is only fighting for Atiku to become president. Not anything else. It's how to just grab power. So their aim is not to really change the society. Sometimes let the political party have a mission. That even sometimes when you have an existing government, I work with the government to still achieve what I want, so that you begin to shape things. And you're not looking for the society. Is it because of for Atiku to become president? Is that why I'm there? Is it for Peter Obi to become president? No, it was Peter's agenda that I bought into. Where is it now? That's my worry.
And Kenneth, do you think the labor, organized labor, even have the right to stop the minister from attending this meeting with them and the federal government? That the minister should be shut out?
Well, just like Kris has said, the organized labor that we call the organized labor, for me, I think they are the genesis of the problem of the country.
How is that?
Yes, thank you. You see, the labor, or rather the Labor Congress, compromises of every civil servant in the country, right? So if the refinery has not been working for 16 years or thereabouts, it's also the guys in the labor that are not even getting it to work. You might want to blame the minister, you might want to blame, but these are the guys who run these offices, who these monies are assigned through their offices. They are the ones that launder the money from the finance ministry. They are the ones that see the budget from the Ministry of Budget and Planning. They are the ones that. So what I'm saying is, labor is everywhere, but labor is nowhere. The only time we know there is labor is when they want to protest or go for a strike. Where can we see a successful society from striking, from going on incessant strikes? Now, what I'm saying is this: if labor is saying that they will not come to a meeting if the minister for labor is not there, then they need to tell us what the minister for labor has been doing wrongly in all the other meetings and the reason why they don't want him to be there. Does it mean that the minister is impeding the negotiation? Who do they want to negotiate with? Is it secretary to the federal? Is it the secretary to the government? Is it the chief of staff to the president? Is it the president himself? We're even yet to see the demands of this labor in a way that it resonates with the demand of the average man. I think this is why the Kris is saying that Peter Obi needs to speak now, because it looks more like he is the face of everything labor in Nigeria. So we want to hear them say, I think the subsidy is wrong. But no, they're not going to say the subsidy is wrong. They're not going to say remove the subsidy is wrong, because even Peter campaigned that the subsidy needs to remove. So we need to hear their own ideas. Maybe labor needs to start sharing ideas with Nigeria. But of course, if you look at the trajectory of labor in the sense of the way Adams Oshomole also moved from labor to partisan policies you begin to see that in fact most of the guys you see in the Labour Party or rather the Labour Congress are also in one way or the other praying tomorrow to have political godfathers that can adopt them and bring them into the mainstream politics. I'm not saying it's wrong. What I'm saying is that most of these guys going to negotiate on behalf of 200 and something million Nigerians. They don't even stand the basis to negotiate for Nigerians, not because they are labor leaders and the rest. In some other countries, even the labor as it's been set up, have proper negotiation departments that handle every issue of negotiation, every issue of memorandum of understanding. But what we see, whenever there's a labor meeting, you'll see the leaders of the labor, they run, then they take pictures with the president, and they're already smiling. I'm of the level APC. What I'm saying, most of these guys, they go, they don't even say anything. They only go there to just show relevance, and of course, 1 or 2 brand envelopes is being given to them. They come back and then they tell the guys at home, you know what, we're not going to strike. And then when they keep doing that, they lose relevance at the home. When they now pass information and say, we're going to go on strike, nobody's going to obey them because people are feeling they're already partisan as it is. What I'm saying in the daily today is that the labor is going to start their strike action in Imo State from the November the 1st. Imo State has an election coming up. Does it mean now that labor is negotiating only in Imo State? They are not going on strike in the whole country. It's in Imo State. The government is not even only civil servants in Imo State, but that is why they want to strike. They want to start their striking. You see that Labour Party has officially, the law that the Labour Congress has officially turned to a campaign structure for the Labour Party in Imo State. So people are not going to take them serious. Most Nigerians don't even believe when they go there to negotiate, and they're even negotiating for them. So for me, if they are going to say the minister is not coming there, then they need to visit the constitution. The minister is the one who is even empowered to run the ministry that oversees their affairs. So if there's anybody who's supposed to be in the meeting, it's the minister. If on a good day, they should be having that meeting only with the Minister for Labour for him to now transmit their demands to the secretary to the government, for the secretary to the government to move it to the president. But most times we don't even know how due process is supposed to be, because they're asking for a meeting and then they're expecting the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, to come and sit down with you and start negotiating over labor demands. They are real demands, they are legitimate demands, but there are channels to communication. If they're going to say the minister will not come there, then the president might even see the meeting as already becoming a political meeting, and he might not even decide to grace the meeting as it is.
I think I agree. No matter the grievances you have with the minister, coming, because that is the person that stands as the head of, is the minister of labor. So I don't know why we are to, I don't know why we shouldn't even allow them to participate there. Whatever happens, we do hope that the organized labor will continue to uphold the interest of Nigeria rather than partisans or anything of such. That would be a good place to wrap up the show this morning. Before we go, don't forget our SROTV packages. We have SROTV travel tours. We have as well rentals, and as well we have coverage. Just call on us and then we'll cover that event, no matter the kind of event you do. And don't forget our production outlets as well. Just to move in and you start your production, no stress at all. And our magazine as well, as low as 30K, you can showcase yourself, your brand, and your products to the world. Yes, and let's not forget Kilaf as well, all road leads to Kaduna, Kanu rather, on 21st next month to 27, where we'll be showcasing our indigenous movies. So no matter the tribe, no matter where you're from in Nigeria, in Africa, just stand up, submit your movies, and who knows, you might be the one going with that award. It's a good thing to showcase ourselves, our tribes, our people, our culture, our heritage as well. Do well to follow us on our social media handles: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and X, and of course YouTube. Subscribe and invite somebody to the page, and leave us with your comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you again tomorrow, hopefully. And while you're out there, don't drink and drive, and of course obey the traffic law. And then remember that peace is priceless. So let's always give peace a chance. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Are you a filmmaker in Abuja and its environ? Do you need a place for your music video, or you need a venue for your conference, and even an editing suite for your post-production? Look no further. Our beautiful turret in Lokugoma has it all. We have a whole floor that consists of 3-angle lounge, a beautiful dining area, a large kitchen, a conference area that can comfortably accommodate 60 persons, and 5-bedroom adaptable for all kinds of shoots. The good news is all is available at affordable price. And you know what? If you are a member of the Association of Movie Producers of Nigeria, you have 20% discount. So what are you waiting for? Hurry and contact us on the numbers on your screen now.